Good morning, dear students. For today's class, I thought to give you a brief introduction into periodontics. Okay, so for that, you must know what are the basic structures that we deal with. Okay, so first of all, this is this model. Okay, in this model, this pink portion is your gingiva. Okay, so gingiva is one of the most important structures that we deal with. Okay, so this is your gingiva. Okay, and what if you incise the gingiva, then what do you get? Once the gingiva is incised, what is there underneath is the alveolar bone. Okay, I hope my point is clear. This is your gingiva, and what lies beneath the gingiva is the alveolar housing. And then if you see, which was the tooth, yeah, around every tooth root, what I've highlighted here in blue color is a cementum. Okay, so around every tooth root there is a structure called as cementum, and this cementum is attached to the alveolar housing with periodontal ligaments. Okay, so four basic structures: the gingiva, the alveolar bone, and then there is the cementum around each tooth. Okay, and there are periodontal ligament fibers which are connecting the cementum to the alveolar bone. Okay, so I hope this much is clear to you. So ekdam basic. Okay, now each of it has its own role, has its own function. Okay, so I thought I'll just briefly explain a little more about the gingiva in this video, though it's just an introductory class. Okay, so over here you can see the gingiva. Okay, now in the gingiva you can divide this gingiva to whatever gingiva is present over here, like marginally, whatever gingiva is present marginally, that is your marginal gingiva. Then beyond your marginal gingiva you have something called as a free gingival groove. Okay, now this is a marginal gingiva, this is a free gingival groove. Beyond that, what you see is your attached gingiva. Okay, this attached gingiva is also very important. Beyond the attached gingiva, you will have the mucogingival junction, after which you will have the alveolar mucosa. Okay, have I made my point clear? Macroscopically, if you are to divide the gingiva, what is there around the tooth margin that you see, that is the marginal gingiva. After that you will have the free gingival groove, after which you will have the attached gingiva. After that you will have a line which is a mucogingival junction. After that you will have the alveolar mucosa. This much has to be very clear in your head. When I am talking about the attached gingiva, I am talking about this part. When I am talking about the marginal gingiva, I am talking about this part. When I am talking about the alveolar mucosa, I am talking about the part which is beyond the mucogingival junction. Okay, so macroscopically those are the things that you need to know. Okay, now microscopically means what? This is your gingiva. Okay, this gingiva, this gingiva over here. Now this, if you see under the microscope, what do you see? Okay, this is one diagram that I have drawn. Okay, so over here this is the tooth portion and this is the root portion. Okay, this is your alveolar bone. Okay, there are PDL fibers which will connect the root portion and the alveolar bone. Now this is your gingiva. Now very important, you must understand that the gingiva has an epithelial portion and the gingiva has connective tissue portion. Okay, there is an epithelial portion and then there is a connective tissue portion. In the epithelial portion you will find degrees of keratinization, like you studied in pathology before, stratum basale, corneum. So all these layers of keratinization and all those things happen in the epithelial layer. Okay, whereas the connective tissue composition, it's like Semia payasam. The connective tissue composition, you have milk in the payasam. Okay, that's like the matrix. You have Semia, So that's gingival fibers in that. Okay, and then there are cells which are your nuts and other things that you add. Okay, so I'll just once again tell you that the gingival portion you can macroscopically divide it. Okay, more so to come in my video of gingiva. Okay, this is just basic things that you have to know. Marginal gingiva, attached gingiva, alveolar mucosa. Okay, macroscopically. Microscopically there is epithelial layer and there is connective tissue layer. Okay, this epithelial layer also over here, the epithelial layer on the outside is the outer epithelium. The epithelial layer in the sulcus. What is the sulcus? Sulcus is what? In every human being, with the help of a probe, if you probe here like this, the probe will go up to 1 to 2 mm depth. Okay, so that V shape inside, that is called your sulcus. So this becomes your sulcular epithelium, and the lowermost attachment over here is your junctional epithelium. Okay, so in epithelium you have outer epithelium, sulcular epithelium and junctional epithelium. In connective tissue, what are the contents of the connective tissue? There is a matrix, there are certain gingival fibers and there are certain cells. Okay, so that was your epithelium and connective tissue, marginal gingiva, attached gingiva. So all those things about gingiva is clear to you. Okay, now so even in your Carranza is the textbook of periodontology. Everybody must have a Carranza, and whatever class I take, you will be able to understand it better only if you read through the chapters in Carranza. Okay, so next coming to okay, what are the most common types of diseases in the gingiva? So most commonly what happens, there are microorganisms in the oral cavity. These microorganisms in the oral cavity, they attack the gingival structures. Okay, so what do we do when microorganisms affect the host? Do we do Gandhigiri? No, we fight back. So how do we fight back? We fight back by, there is something called as a saliva that you know. Okay, other than the saliva, there is something called as the gingival crevicular fluid. It is one fluid that is released from the sulcus. Okay, this fluid also contains defense cells. They will help to go and fight against these microorganisms. Okay, so there is saliva, there is gingival crevicular fluid, and the turnover of the epithelial cells in the gingiva. So all those will be dealt in detail. So these things will help to fight against these microorganisms that are constantly attacking. Okay, so how do you know fighting is going on, or how do you know what is the status of the gingiva right now? Okay, so there are two things. Macroscopically also there will be changes, microscopically there will be changes. Okay, macroscopic changes will be what? See, your gingiva in normal condition, it will have a particular color, it will have a particular contour, it will have a particular consistency. There are certain features that are normal to the normal gingiva. Okay, I'm sorry, I hope my point is clear. So there are certain features which are normal to the normal gingiva. Okay, like the normal color of gingiva, normally there will be scalloping. Okay, normally there will be no bleeding. Okay, so all those are certain normal features. So when you see that a patient is come and the gingiva is reddish in color, or there is a lot of calculus. Calculus is what? Once these microorganisms are there in the oral cavity and they are not able to combat well against the host, they will, I am sorry, yeah, so they will, what do you say, they will make a shield. Okay, and this shield is your calculus. It is a yellow color thing that you see around the teeth, especially for those who don't properly brush their teeth and all. Anyways, there's a lot to be spoken about calculus, which will be dealt in the calculus chapter. It is yellowish mineralized substances which are seen on the tooth surface. Okay, so microscopically you will see that the color is changing, the contour is changing, and there is presence of calculus, there is presence of bleeding. So if all these things are there, you know that कुछ हो रहा है, मतलब you know that there is some change that is happening in the gingiva. Those are the macroscopic features. Even microscopically, like if you were to take that section of gingiva and analyze it under the microscope, you will see that there will be change in the normal flora of microorganisms. There will be predominantly gram-negative microorganisms. There will be more of destructive cells that are present under the microscope. Okay, in detail later. Okay, so that is your plaque and microorganisms which are trying to affect the host, and the host is trying to fight back against these microorganisms. Okay, so if the host is okay, over here I can say one more point, which means the host is fighting against the microorganisms. Okay, so what if the host is compromised? If the host is already having certain other problems and certain other diseases, will it be able to fight back effectively against the microorganisms? No. Okay, so next set of chapters in Carranza is about the systemic conditions which will affect how the host is fighting against these microorganisms. Okay, so host factors which affect the fighting against the microorganisms. Okay, I think I'll just briefly tell you everything that I told you until now. After that, I'll go to the next session. Okay, so I told you, what are the things that I told you? This is the gingiva. Okay, this is the alveolar bone. This is the cementum. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is the cementum. There are PDL fibers which connect these cementum to the alveolar bone. Okay. After that, I told you a little more about the gingiva, which means macroscopically, if you are to categorize it, there is marginal gingiva around the margins. Okay. Then there is a free gingival groove. After that, there is attached gingiva. And then there is a mucogingival junction, and after that there is alveolar mucosa. Okay, and then I told you that there is the if you are seeing microscopically, the gingiva will have an epithelial layer and it will have a connective tissue layer. The epithelial layer, there is outer epithelium, sulcular epithelium, junctional epithelium. Connective tissue layer is like semapism, but don't tell it to anybody else. Okay, it means that there is a matrix, there are gingival fibers, and there are cells. Okay, and it is in this epithelial layer, this much portion I have magnified. Okay, it is in this epithelial layer that you will find the degrees of keratinization. Okay. Then I told you that the gingiva can have different types of diseases, but one of the most common disease that happens in the gingiva is because of the presence of microorganisms. So these microorganisms, they will come and they will form a good colony, okay, to fight against the host cells. So there is constant fighting going on. So when this microorganism is attacking us, are we like staying quiet? No. We are fighting back against these microorganisms with the help of saliva, with the help of a fluid called gingival crevicular fluid, which comes out of the sulcus, and it has many defense cells which will help the host to fight against the bacteria. Okay, and there are other mechanisms also, but these are the most important ones. So then, okay, jhagdi is happening. If we are fighting against the microorganisms, and if we win, then well and good. Normal gingival features will be seen. There will be no bleeding. Okay, healthy gingiva will be there. But if the host is not able to win against these bacteria, eventually more and more bacteria will colonize in this area, and what will happen? It will lead to further disease progression, gingivitis, periodontitis, and all that. Okay, so very important concept in periodontitis is that periodontitis is what? Gingivitis is inflammation which is extending only till the gingiva. Periodontitis is what? If the inflammation has progressed into the underlying alveolar bone also, okay, and this bone is also affected, then it becomes periodontitis. Okay, if only your gingiva is affected, it is your gingivitis. Okay, so one important concept that you have to understand over here is that the host is equally responsible for periodontal disease. Okay. The microorganisms are acting against the host and the host is also fighting back. If the host is not able to effectively contain these microorganisms, is when you will have periodontal disease or periodontal destruction. Okay. So if there is initial destruction that is taking place, gingivitis, how will you come to know? You will see that the normal features of gingiva are changed. Like there will be change in the color, there will be change in the contour, consistency, all those things. Normal features of gingiva will change. Okay. For now, if you understand that much, it's okay. And also you will find that there is this yellowish mineralized substance that is seen on the tooth surface, which is your dental calculus. Okay. In brief, in detail regarding all of this will be taken eventually. This is just to give you an idea as to how the whole thing is connected. Okay. So I think I have told you that now if the host is having certain other problems and certain other diseases, definitely the host is not able to combat against the microorganisms very well. Okay, so until here I hope everything is clear to you. Now next is, if the disease is progressed further, host is not able to fight back and the disease is progressed further, then what will happen? You will find that in areas of normal sulcus you will get only 1 mm 2 mm. Okay, but if the disease is progressed, your probe will be able to go beyond this 1 mm 2 mm. It will be able to go, for example, until here. Yeah, you see, this is not a feature of normal gingiva. In the normal gingiva you can go maybe 1 mm or 2 mm in healthy condition. If the disease is progressed, this attachment is affected and your probe will go further inside, which is called your periodontal pocket. Okay, so there is periodontal pocket, and then what happens? There is bone loss. If underneath the alveolar bone destruction has started, there will be bone loss. And if bone loss is extended to such a limit, then there will be, if bone is what is supporting it inside. No, if there is no bone, then there is tooth mobility and eventually the tooth will have to go for extraction. Okay, so I think for now I'll stop after I talk about a small example. Okay, and I'll be continuing about it in my next video. Okay, so you know what, my HOD, okay, so when he used to talk about periodontal disease, he used to tell this example. He used to tell, it's like Ganji mele bidda nona. Okay, it's in Kannada. So it means that on the porridge, rice water. Okay, if one fly will fall into it, then for some time it will try to come out. Okay, it will try to beat its wings and it will try to come out. And after some time it will get tired and it will stop working. And then again after some time it will try. And then again it will stop. So this is the example he gave us to make us understand that periodontal disease activity is such that there will be a period in which the disease is in the very active stage, and then there will be a period in which the disease is in inactive stage. So that was the example for disease activity or severity in periodontal disease. Okay, so that was until here. And okay, for now I'll stop over here. Okay, so now you have understood that there will be microorganisms, the host is fighting against the microorganisms, and the host is not compatible enough, then the microorganisms are forming colonies and they are settling there, and the disease activities, like sometimes the microorganisms will function ekdam too much and then for some time they will take rest. Okay, so for now only so much, and in my next video I'll talk about the next sections of periodontics and what it deals with. Do let me know what your feedbacks are, and most importantly, subscribe. Okay, bye.